What is real? How do you define real? If real is what you can see, what you can hear and smell and taste or touch, then real is simply an electrical signal interpreted by your brain. I always looked at that sentence, I heard it so many times, and I always asked, what does that mean? Brain is encased inside a skull. So theoretically, it has to rely on the senses to get some sort of an input about what's happening in the reality. The brain can decide what real means in the moment. So either through the eyes, ears, nose, touch, or it predicts based on what is known. That's our five senses, our physical senses. Then we talk about the sixth sense. That is happening through our intuition.
Like we said, intuition is always there. Never goes anywhere. But if intuition is the innermost space of our being, according to the thoughts that turn into beliefs, that turn into stories that we keep alive and make real, it doesn't make our intuition go anywhere. We just can't see it under the layers. It's like intuition is between the lines of the story that we tell. And so as we wake up and we become aware and we consider that we are love, that we are divine, that we really are, and we remember, to me, like the waking up into awareness is.
Hello, beautiful souls, curious minds. Welcome back to another Awaken Aware podcast session. Today, Tammy and I are going to talk about intuition and understanding of how to be able to intuitively perceive your life. So why is intuition important? What does it give us? How can it be or is really more accurate than the mind system that is based on predictions from our past experiences? We are also going to touch on gratitude and how that actually allows us to shift into a different state of being. Without any further ado, help me welcome Tammy back and see where this conversation takes us. Thank you for coming back again, Tammy.
Thank you
Good
for
to have
having
you
me.
here. Yeah, pleasure. Today I'm going to chat about intuition and how that really works with gratitude and why being grateful may be one of the most important things that you may do in your life. So, intuition. Let's start with the brain itself. One of the things around brain is what I've delved into recently was the quote that's in the Matrix when Morpheus says to Neo, "What is real? How do you define real? If real is what you can see, what you can hear and smell and taste or touch, then real is simply an electrical signal interpreted by your brain." And this is important to understand. Actually, personally, I always looked at that sentence, I heard it so many times, and I always asked, what does that mean? And so I felt into it a little bit, and basically the brain is encased inside a skull, right? So theoretically, it has to rely on the senses to get some sort of an input about what's happening in the reality, in the experience that we have, right?
Right.
So the brain is 100% relying on every sense, physical sense, and it is 100% relying on the data that it has had in past. So any kind of memory, any kind of experience from past, that the brain can decide what real means in the moment. So either through the eyes, ears, nose, touch, or it predicts based on what is known to the human being that is perceiving. And because we each have a different filter since our childhood, since our birth, really, and possibly before lifetimes, then each one of us will have the perception different, and thus each one of our realities will vary.
Mhm.
So this is why I feel that reality is based off of each one of us, our perception is to the point, makes sense. Because brain itself, like I said, it can't walk out of the head and just like go touch things, right? It has the messengers.
Mhm.
So like the brain is like the king, and so it's like the king and the five messengers. Let's make it a story. And
Mm-hmm.
so from that perspective, then if we are only tuned or tied to perceive our reality through the brain, there really isn't much room for surprise and or for imagination.
Mm.
Or perhaps there is all the room left for the imagination because now a different facility can be used within our system that is tying to our ability to be aware of our thoughts, our ability to be aware of our perception that we're having by some of the senses or one of the senses or all of the senses that is being interpreted by the brain and our awareness of that happening in real
Mm-hmm.
time. I find it fascinating in the sense that there really isn't a true reality for everybody that is the same. Other than perhaps our perception of gravity, I don't know. Other than that, I don't feel like that there's much of a sameness in all of our realities. I feel like all the realities are different in that sense because each one of us has different filters. How do you feel
Yes.
about that?
Yes. What is real is true, and what is true is love. What is real is that which doesn't change. I think that's Rumi,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So truth doesn't change.
Mm-hmm.
Love does not change.
Mm-hmm.
Love transforms what comes to it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's changeless.
Mm-hmm.
And the brain is informed, our mind is informed by the thoughts that we think and what we believe about those thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can have a thought of something negative, something I don't want to have a thought of, a low vibration thought. I can have that thought, but not have an emotion of low vibration because it's what I do with the thought that will determine how, what emotion, what feeling comes. And every thought that's ever thought is always there. It doesn't ever go anywhere. Any thought we've ever thought in our being, in our always, it never goes anywhere. But a past thought, a belief about something, it gets, we use that word trigger. It gets touched or woke up by something. Then whatever we choose, it can become we call it a pattern. Like, oh, yeah, I had this thought. This was true for me because I had this feeling when I was 10. And this is how this situation is. This is my belief about whatever the topic.
Mm-hmm.
If we believe it to be true and experience wakes it up, that experience will be our reality, that lower vibration, but only because we formed a belief about it. That's why the awareness is so important. Our intuition is always there of our soul to discern and decide, okay, yep, that thought, I had that thought, but I'm not going to hold on to that and go further with it because I don't want to live in that belief of that negative thought. So we have that choice. We have the free will of making a choice no matter what our thoughts are. But the reality will come according to where we went with it. But our intuition is always there as truth. That's the choice that we would make to think of something in a positive light or to release it, leave that, let that go, not have it become a belief. Our intuition is always there, always, never, ever, ever changing. It's
Mm-hmm.
always our soul. It's always love. That's the choice of awareness.
Thank you for bringing it here, actually, because this is really what I wanted to take it
I didn't
next.
know where it was going, so
No,
I'm
this
glad
is
you're
where it's
happy
going
with it.
next. Exactly. I started to talk about the patterns that we have currently to recognize reality, right? That is through
Mhm.
brain, that is through perception of our senses. That's our five senses, our physical senses. Then we talk about the sixth sense, right? Which really I take it personally as our connection, just as you're saying, to the divine,
Mhm.
to the love that is present all the time, to the source. And
Mhm.
that is happening through our intuition or
Mhm.
what we call intuition. And I feel
Mhm.
that, with the intuition, like you said, it's always there. It's always there. Yet, why are we not using it? What is causing us to continuously use our past experiences wisdom, not that we shouldn't, but only using our past experiences, wisdom, logical thinking, and based on, again, perception of our five physical senses. These are not inaccurate, but not as adequate as the intuition is.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that the intuition is there all the time, we're just not utilizing it. I was thinking that back in the day when digital technology wasn't around as much, we were dependent every day with every action and activity on our intuition. It
Mm-hmm.
was not questioned ever. It was always like, how did you know that that was going to happen? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I just knew,
Mm-hmm.
right? And today, people would look at the device and just calculate things and go by like what's most probable, what's most possible, what's most logical, and then the intuition is kind of like sitting there waiting to be used, and it's not used. And so today, I feel like a lot of, especially younger generation, has completely not been using intuition, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like it's like the atrophied muscle in this being. And the awakening of intuition, I was gonna ask you about that. So like how do we awaken intuition in our physicality really? It's like how do we start using it again? What can we do, what we could do, or what we maybe shouldn't also do to be
Mm-hmm.
able to awaken the intuition again? Do you have some thoughts around that?
We release the stories that they're buried under.
Oh, I love that.
So, like we said, intuition is always there,
Hmm.
never goes anywhere. But if intuition is the innermost space of our being, according to the thoughts that turn into beliefs, that turn into stories that we keep alive and make real, it doesn't make our intuition go anywhere. We just can't see it under the layers. It's like intuition is between the lines of the
Hmm.
of the story
Hmm.
that we tell. And so as we wake up and we become aware and we consider that we are love, that we are divine, that we really are, and we remember all that we are, to your point, devices and the access to so much. I've realized that since computers and phones, my spelling is not good. It's not natural. I was always a writer, always it was always my best,
Uh-huh.
courses in school and everything, but because I don't have to think about it.
Hmm.
And so it's the same, I guess, as using if we use a calculator for everything, then it's almost like we still know how to add and subtract. We know how to spell. But like if we haven't been doing it, we're doing other things to do it. We're outsourcing it.
Hmm.
It's almost we're outsourcing our intuition and the access to all of the different forms and voices and everything and different opinions. I mean, there's so much that you couldn't possibly make sense of it because some sound the same and some contradict each other and this is right, that's wrong, my way's better, you should do it this way, take this supplement. No, don't take that. That's going to make you sick. Oh yeah, no, you got to take the there's just so much. And like to your point, we've forgotten. Okay, yeah, sometimes we need something else, but eat real food, eat whole foods, like all of the things that we always naturally did. We grew
Hmm.
on food and we all that was the only way it was.
Hmm.
And so it's underneath that. To me, like the waking up into awareness it's that sort of returning to that and trusting it. But we
Hmm.
we have to do it to remember it. You
Hmm.
can't just, "Oh, remember who you are." Just remember that you're loved. Just remember that you're well, you gotta practice it. Um, Solitude, stillness, the same way we come into awareness, we get still, and then that voice can come up because intuition will never, ever yell, shout. It will not ever effort to be louder than the stories. It
Hmm.
won't. It's we
The
have to
quiet
take the
voice.
step to be quiet first.
Mhm.
Then we can be still and listen. And
Mhm.
it's right there and it's immediate. It doesn't take long once you do it. I encourage that to everyone. When they're like, "What do you mean? You want me to sit still?"
How
Yeah.
boring. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's again well said. I think that there's a lot to be taken from even just what you said there, and the fact that the intuition, just like what you were saying, that it's unused, so it kind of goes dormant, and it's not that we can't use it, we can. It's just that we didn't feel the need to access it.
Mhm.
There's several ways I feel to awaken intuition. I think one of them is just purely physical. I mean, you can literally, it's like breath work, right? To stimulate the
Mhm.
pineal gland in your brain with Kundalini breath or whatever, and you
Mhm.
can have the heightened intuition awareness all of a sudden, right?
Mm.
You can work with visualization and really just feel the center of the brain, and then stimulation, kind of visualizing light, etc. There's all sorts of ways around that. And
Mhm.
another one that I think was my favorite so far is to feel into gratitude. And this
Mm.
is something that has I've noticed when I already mentioned this in a bunch of other podcasts that we have done. When I was in that Vibravision training, where we were learning how to learn with blindfolds on. When your
Mm.
eyes are out, even if you were to take your ears out and you're not hearing, you're not seeing, you are left literally to your ability either to move through space with touching. If you can't use that either, then you're really
Mhm.
left to very little. Your sense of smell is almost not needed at that point.
Mhm.
Obviously, taste definitely useless in that point. Moving through life without eyes and ears and touch.
Mhm.
So then the intuition steps in. It
Yeah.
has to. It like takes over because it's like, oh, we don't have the messenger one, messenger two, messenger three are
Mm.
down. Okay, messenger six, step in. To me, it was like
Yeah.
kind of like that. That sixth sense, that's intuition, that tapping into this constantly unknown space.
Mm.
That is unpredictable, infinite, and it is where it is, and our ability to move through life in that space can only be done with intuition. Successfully, let me say it this way, because otherwise we could, do it all sorts of other ways, but it would be
Sure.
kind of like a
Yeah.
little child trying to drive a car, kind of thing. So
Right.
crash a few times,
Yeah.
But what I wanted to say to that is that when they had us connect to, not only did we do breath work, not only we do visualization, but the real connection comes from, or came from within me, through my awareness of deep gratitude. Literally, gratitude for life, gratitude for my parents, my friends, the things that I feel, that just
Mhm.
living, being able to live and perceive life.
Yeah.
Just feeling into that, sitting with that feeling, like you say, being still, sitting with that feeling, breathing in and breathing out that feeling of gratitude, amplifying it is what has most awakened my intuition. And especially in places like where you really don't have eyes to see and you're in a completely dark space,
Mhm.
your intuition is what allows you to see.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, beautifully said. I feel that gratitude is the open door and the light that shines so we can see and feel our intuition,
mhm,
because gratitude brings us into love. It's going to bring us into the space of love, and love is where intuition lives. Like if love were a space, and a closet, like, oh, where's love? Oh, it's in the closet. It's in the closet. Intuition is in the closet with love. Like that's where it is. I mean, we hear all the time people that have been through either traumatic events or crises of health or something.
mhm,
That's like a fast track, which I've had experience with. And it overtakes everything. And a perfect example of it being real and not needing to be learned that we have it, back when I had my longest and most severe surgery with my brain, I didn't I mean, I was doing this work, but I wasn't here. I didn't know what I know now. I didn't know that then.
Hmm.
So I sit here today and know that I wasn't able to touch it because I knew what I know now and I have this knowledge or this practice, and there was nothing else. And knowing what I was going for, knowing how serious, like knowing all of the details of it. When I sat still, I didn't even know what I was asking for. I was just talking to God, talking to source, like whatever I needed. And it was like I was brought into this tunnel vision where I was very aware of my family. My daughter was very young. I was very aware of their pain and their fear for me and all of that. I was
Hmm.
100% aware of it, but I somehow knew that I needed to be like this, just it needed me. It needed to be me and God, me and the process. There couldn't be any interruptions, which is strange to say. I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, like you're of course you're thinking of the other, and it was on the way there to surgery, but it was in that moment where I'm on the stretcher. The family's at the door, they can't go any further, and they say, "Okay, this is as far as you can go." And I was aware of, the sadness and the fear, but I had none. None. There was no fear. I was completely aware of what was happening,
Hmm.
but I was just and I was I'm watching the tiles go by and the lights go by on the ceiling as they wheel me in, and I go in and, like, you're awake for a little bit of it while they get you set up and stuff. That is just it's proof that it's there because I didn't have certain knowledge that got me there. Nothing. I didn't have anything that got me there. It was my desire to ask, my choice maybe to, ask for something bigger because I knew I didn't wanna be in fear. I knew
Hmm.
how dangerous it was to be in fear and to go into something like that.
Yeah.
So it's when we're willing to just let go, but we don't need a crisis or a surgery to happen. It's that release, that let go, that surrender, I know we talk about it all the time and it just seems so over, like everybody talks about surrender, but that's where it is. And we just have to get quiet. We don't have to really do anything. Just getting quiet and it'll come up and everything else dissolves. It's like it rises up and then everything else sort of falls away when we let it,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
it'll
it's
inform us.
yeah, it's like how do you describe silence,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
futile, totally. It's like you're trying to describe
Mhm.
silence is just it's nonsensical, right? So this is again
Mhm.
where
Yeah.
you're pointing us to feel into the
Mhm.
silence, to feel into the space that's there all the time, that
Yeah.
love, that
Mhm.
infinity really that's in there all the time. We have that inner knowing and that awareness within us of
Mhm.
the connection to everything all the time
Mhm. Yeah.
because we are that infinity that we feel with everything.
Yeah.
As the
Mhm.
reason that we can feel into the vastness of the universe, the reason that we can feel into the bright light, the reason that we can feel into health, love,
Mhm.
abundance, wealth, whatever it is because we are it.
Yeah.
We
It
are it, we are part of it, and
Mhm.
because of that, there cannot be lack.
Right.
Because of that, there always is connection.
Yeah. Mhm.
And if we linger in that state of being, in that connection with the divine, what else is there to do but to feel grateful?
Right. Yeah.
So then the
And
gratitude becomes a byproduct of that awareness.
Mhm. It's the way.
Yeah.
It's like the gratitude, it becomes the path that we use our intuition to make decisions upon how we walk the path of life.
Hmm.
Our intuition is accessed to inform us of choices, decisions, whether it be, where to go for coffee or big decisions, it doesn't really matter.
Hmm.
But gratitude is the path that opens up for us to journey on with our intuition.
Hmm.
And we don't have to do anything or be good enough or like achieve something. There's not a master's degree to get in order to be able to hear your intuition. And the simplest way that I would describe, a difference or how to tell intuition, like I said, it never yells or shouts or tries to get up there and make you see it first. Intuition will never return an answer with doubt, fear. Might be fear like making a leap, like a level up and rising
Hmm.
fear. But it's
Hmm.
that good, like, "Ooh, okay, I'm nervous, but yeah, it's good. It's
Hmm.
it's exciting."
Hmm.
So if we know that, then we know that anything that comes to us, the thought to come, if we're making a decision or making a choice, anything that is doubtful, fear based, not in the highest good of everyone, worry about what somebody's going to say, that's not intuition. That's the ego. That's
Hmm.
the mind getting in there. But oh no, wait, remember all the stories? No, we can't do that. Remember all the
Yeah.
stories we know? The ego is going to try to tell you all the stories are going to come up,
Yeah.
but intuition won't.
Yeah, and so the thank you. That's beautiful. Again, bringing us back to kind of where we started a little bit in the sense like how is this really useful to have to be
Mm,
able to have the intuition and be able to rely on it, use it versus keep operating the way that the society has taught us
mm,
based on our physical senses and the agenda that's being pushed, as well as by
mm,
our filtering system that has been created literally by unconscious states of being since the
mhm,
childhood that has
mm,
been stored in a subconscious mind, basically, and then according to these filters is how we live our life.
mhm,
So if when we get to this space where we allow to ourselves to rely on intuition, that you know what, I am going through this relationship difficulty and I don't know what to do. Yeah, I
mhm,
mean that will happen. You will feel that. You will feel at
mhm,
times that yeah, you won't know what to do. If again, you take a moment and just get yourself in the mind state of, okay, I am divine being, connected with the universe all the time. That power that created the entire universe is in me as well. So let me
mhm,
just be here, sit with this, and I'm going to tune myself to this layer where the answers exist all the time.
mhm,
And I'm going to have this answer come to me because I don't know what to do right now as a human. I'm kind of stuck in a loop, and a way for this to get resolved is for me to just be still and listen, literally just listen to what comes. And in that stillness, first, there will be still a little bit of an echo of the mind's constructs. Well, maybe you could, call her, and tell her that you're sorry or something like that, whatever happened in the relationship.
mhm,
And then but that's a fearful response to what you were saying because that's the loudest one in that moment, so
mhm,
get quieter and then get quieter even more so. This is one of the ways that I practice with my students. This part is we'll start with the slow breath, then make
mhm,
it slower, then make it subtler and slower, and then make it even more subtle and slower. Then you're in a space of listening.
mhm,
And so that's one of the ways to get to the intuition in the modern, busy, crazy world, full of the
mhm,
filters from our subconscious mind creation that has been actually created not necessarily by us alone. It's by parents, society, etc. But we are the
mhm,
ones that actually gave it a meaning, so we can also change it.
mhm,
So empowering, an important distinction that just because your behavioral patterns are in the subconscious mind doesn't mean that they cannot be changed. If
Right.
you
Hmm.
feel that they cannot be changed, that is just the ego saying, don't look, because you're gonna find out I'm fake.
Hmm. Hmm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's like if I'm sitting with the intention of coming into my full intuition and the quietness of that stillness, the way that I know I'm not there is if the doing ideas are coming or
mm,
solutions, fixing
mm,
ideas of, well, if they did that, or maybe if I had this conversation, oh, maybe if I did dot dot
mm,
dot, the maybe ifs I tell me, I'm not there yet.
yeah,
Get quieter. Like,
yes,
that's my sort of gauge of, do I need to be quieter still? Yeah. Quiet until there's no trying to figure something out. And 95% of the time, probably, there's nothing for us to do to this big problem that we have. You know,
yeah,
we're not talking about a project at work or something, of course, but the stuff that's of the soul, there's usually very little to do. It's our trying to do things of the mind based on all of the thoughts, all of the beliefs, all of the stories. That's what's keeping us in the loop.
yeah,
We get out of the loop by getting quiet. Like, get off, if you don't want to spin, get off the merry-go-round.
yeah,
Because otherwise you're going to keep spinning, or get right in the middle of it and then you won't feel the turning. But either get in the middle or get off. But the closer you get to the edge, you're going to spin off, right?
yeah,
As you pointed to, it's practice.
yeah,
But the gratitude is, that's like a practice. Like, that's something to do. Like, in other words, if there's a lot of angst and it's harder to get quiet, what I do and what I suggest is get a pen and paper and start writing down gratitude. Like, or think of it, but writing it down can pull you out a little quicker, and start with small things, you wake up and I'm grateful for the pillow that my head was on last night. Like, I'm
hmm,
grateful for the warm house, and then climb up and up and up further, and that'll quiet it because that changes the focus to the voice of the intuition. And so they work. It's, gratitude and intuition, they work together.
I love that. Thank you.
Mm,
This is the
yeah.
taking it. I feel like you're mind reading me right now. So, uh, for change, right? So yeah, I
Mm,
wanted to go into that. When you are in a state of gratitude, the way they feel, it's like letting go, like the surrender, like to release. It's that already. It's like
mm,
that's the final destination in some sense, you know. And then I want to speak briefly from the last week's event for in my life. The Tai Chi teacher, the Qigong master, gets sick, right? So, this is
oh,
like, ooh, that was a humbling experience. And the ego kept wanting to just say, okay, well, you know the tools, use them. Get yourself better, right?
mm,
And so that's what I did, of course, right? So it's like, okay, well, I know the tools. I'm gonna use them. I'm gonna get better.
mm,
And every day it's not working. It's not working. I was like, what the heck is happening? And it wasn't really until I spoke with you a
mm,
few days ago, and you were saying just allow it to be felt.
mm, mhm.
Allow it to be felt there. Sit with it. Just love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Send it love. Just, gratitude. Send
Mhm.
it gratitude. Be
Yeah.
with it. Be with that sickness. Just like love the heck out of it.
Yeah. Fall in
And
love with it.
and
Mhm.
exactly. And I got the message. And that moment, as you said those words, similar to what I just said, I felt this lightness all of a sudden.
Mm,
My chest, my head unclogged, everything starts to just like loosened.
yeah.
And that was the moment of feeling going from feeling 0 to 10. I didn't feel too bad, but maybe like 6 or 7, to
Yeah.
feeling 0, to feeling great. So it
Yeah.
was instant. It was absolutely instant. And the power that this holds, our awareness of being in this state of gratitude, is so underestimated
Yeah.
and it needs to be practiced, I feel. Not maybe not needs to be, but I really highly encourage all of us to
Hmm.
keep practicing this gratitude. And
Yeah.
since we have a month of gratitude here in the US, this Thanksgiving, what better time to start with that? So, and really
Yeah.
it's just now because I think
Hmm.
that this won't maybe air until December. But in the meantime, like you say, Tammy, it's like being grateful for the small things. Write them down.
Hmm.
Be with that list. Feel into everything that you really, if you didn't have that pillow for your bed, it would be a little bit
Mm.
harder to sleep. You might have a little bit more difficult sleep. If you had harder sleep, maybe you'd have a headache. Maybe you'd have a neck ache. Maybe you'd feel fine, but maybe you'd have a lack
Yeah.
of sleep and feel tired, So just
Hmm.
gratitude for whatever it is.
Yeah.
So important.
Well, it's so perfect that you brought that into it. The being sick, the trying to fit, oh, what did I, did I do something wrong? What did I do? Why am I sick? I shouldn't be sick. That's the doing that
Yeah.
I talked about. So it's beautiful that you bring it up because that's the doing.
Yeah.
It's the figuring it out.
Hmm.
Well, sometimes the illness, the thing, the pain, it comes to remind us that we have the ability to choose love, which means to choose to just pause and be
Hmm.
still. And it's often a call to slow down because there's something ahead that we need the rest. We'll get sick because we need to come in and be quiet and be still so that we're attuned, aligned with our intuition and very, very connected because of an endeavor that's coming that we need to be grounded, whole, and it's for our good so that we're so connected. It's like a reset. But when we get sick, it's very normal for the thought to be, "Oh no. Oh no, it's
Hmm.
bad. Oh, I might miss work. Oh, I can't do something. Maybe we go down the list of what we're
Hmm.
not going to be able to do because we're sick.
Hmm.
Well, what if being sick and the not doing the things that it prevents us to do sets us still and then we become more grounded, more tuned in for the grander abundance that's there.
Hmm.
Everything is here for us.
Hmm.
Everything.
Hmm.
And if we don't listen to the cold and sit still, then we might end up with, bronchitis or pneumonia or
Hmm.
something. Like it's going to
Yep.
keep what's coming to bring us still will get louder until we
Mhm.
get still. So the illness will get worse and worse and worse. It'll linger longer. It's like better to take 2 days rest when you first start to feel sick rather than push through and then you miss 2 weeks because you pushed through and now you're depleted.
Mhm.
And so it's a call and that's why I'll say like and I say it about all my stuff is I fell in love with it. Like I befriend it and fall in love with it as if it's something coming to me to teach me something.
Mhm.
And if I just set my mind that I'm gonna fall in love with something, I'm automatically feeling love
Yeah.
because I'm having an intention to fall in love with something. So I'm focused on love. I'm focused on coming together with something rather than resisting. You're bad. Stay away. Okay, come on. And trust myself that if it's coming to me, it's for me. And if
Mhm.
that's true, then that means I have the means, the wherewithal, the whatever I need to have to
Mhm.
move through something. It's
Mhm.
always provided. It is
Mhm.
never, ever, ever, never not provided. It's a promise. It's a promise. It's
Mhm.
only our resistance that
Mhm.
keeps us from it. It's that's it. It's us. It's only us. It's our resistance.
Exactly. Like when I was in that state of like starting to feel the cold coming in and it's like starting to feel shivers and things. Instant obviously was the resistance. It was like, why this? Why now? This is not right. I shouldn't be getting sick, you know.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's again that's the loudest one, right? And then instead, again, just saying, this is for me. I'm loving this. Love is
Mhm.
coming from the angle I have not expected it. This is a angle I have not expected the love come. So thank you. Awesome. Back to gratitude, right?
Mhm.
So as soon as we stop resisting, there is a space for gratitude. This door's open right there, wide open.
Mhm.
Because
Yep.
if you're in that realization, like you're saying, that this is happening for me right now, I'm
Mm.
in this
Mhm.
space where this is, opportunity to be still.
Yeah.
Something, whatever it brings, whether it's a sickness, whether it's the a lack of wealth, whether it's the, lack of whatever perception, right? In relationships or whatever it is,
Mhm.
arguments in families and stuff like that. It's like, how do we love that? And what happens because you stop resisting when you're in a state of gratitude, you're like, okay, I'm loving this is even though you're not maybe this is not I'm not saying that yes, I get beaten to pulp, let's say by somebody on the street or something, and I ask myself first question, how can I be grateful for this?
Mm.
Um, Maybe
Mhm.
not right then. Maybe first
Right.
you might want to seek medical attention,
Yeah. Yeah.
first, like we were saying with the snake analogy
Yeah.
again, right? So first going to address the wound, right? And once you
Mhm.
feel better, then maybe let's go back and say, okay, this is happening for me. What's better that's gonna come out of this? Where is life lovingly bringing me to? It's like,
Yeah.
what is it trying to tell me, right? So what's better out there for me than I have
Mhm.
currently? And
Yeah.
so again, how is this
Yeah.
for me? I love it. I
Yeah.
love
Yeah. Because the resistance turns into, it turns into almost like shame and judgment
it. Yeah.
towards ourselves if we're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm doing everything right. I'm putting all this effort into, eat well and,
Yeah.
take care of myself." And, oh,
Yeah.
no, and it turns into that. And that grows quick,
Yep.
especially because if like we're feeling low, we're feeling sick, so we're already low, like our energy's low and all of that.
Mhm.
And so if we let that come in, that'll grow, and a head cold can feel like a traumatic event by the time if we let our, emotionally, it can
Mhm.
turn into that, and then all these other stories and, "Oh, what did I do wrong? I must have done something wrong because I'm sick."
Mhm. Mhm.
Maybe not,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. What if you did everything right?
Mhm.
And what if this is exactly where you need to be right now? And can you, in this case, it was me like, asking myself, can I be with this at this moment, just being here? And then I was. And then the next
Mhm.
day it's still bad. And next day it's still bad. And next day it's still bad. It's like 5 days, and I'm like, this is not usual. This is not what
Yeah,
it is like typically.
yeah.
But
Mhm.
especially with like a head cold or something, it's just like gone in instance. And it's not, I didn't even have fever. I didn't have muscle
Mhm.
ache. I felt tired. And my sinuses were just like clogged all up,
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I wasn't saying, I'm okay with this. I love this. This is great. This is okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
I was saying, okay, what can I do to not have this?
Yeah.
I could meditate. Okay, I'm gonna meditate.
Mhm.
I could, okay, let me give myself
Yeah.
vitamin C, a shitload
Mm.
of vitamin C. Okay, let me give myself this is like one
Yeah.
patching of an issue after another, after another, after another, just again to tire myself out even more.
Well, yeah, and it's a to your point, we can be doing things and taking the vitamin C and doing the things to fight against the cold, or we can be doing those things to nurture and love ourselves.
I love that distinction. Very subtle.
Just that energy change,
Yeah.
like, because if we're doing it to be to fight
Mm-hmm.
against,
Mm-hmm.
it's like this, in the world, like, for
Mm-hmm.
me and when I was sick, I was really, really strict about how people talked around me. No, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not fighting anything. I'm not fighting a
Mm-hmm.
disease, no. I'm loving it and moving through it and loving myself through it. Because
Mm-hmm.
if we're fighting it, the war on and then name the
Mm-hmm.
disease, right?
Mm-hmm.
A war on anything is an attack. And so it just creates more of whatever our focus is. So there's a very, very, like you said, it's a very fine line, but that distinction between tending to yourself to get rid of this bad, horrible thing, or just nurture yourself and love yourself. If you are tending to, like, as we say very often, if we swapped it around and we were tending to a child,
Hmm.
would we be mad at them and tell them that they were doing something wrong? "What's wrong with you? You got a head cold." No. We're gonna
Yeah.
take them in and we're gonna love them and we're gonna nurture them and
Mhm.
we're gonna wrap them up and be soft and kind and loving to them.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna be fighting anything.
Yeah. Beautiful. This is yeah, this is I was hoping to have some few revelations like these during this call, and it was more than that. So I was like, this is great.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love these. I love that you chose these topics. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really choice of my higher being, so not mine.
Yeah.
Who knows what
Yeah.
it would be if it was my choice? We would be probably still debating something. I don't know. Uh,
Yeah. Mhm.
but yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Tammy, for all the
Mm.
wisdom that comes through, and I truly
Mm.
appreciate your presence. You have a beautiful soul, and it's always such fun to hang out.
Yes.
I'm
Ditto.
looking forward to
Same.
do that next time. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you again for being here, for listening to our conversations, and I trust that you have received, again, some sort of an insight into something that is happening currently in your life that you may have been struggling with. As usually, if you have enjoyed this conversation, like, subscribe, hit the bell button if you want to leave us comments as well. Would love to hear from you. And again, approaching life from perspective of gratitude is always a good idea. A little bit of practice goes a long way, so stick with it, keep it up, and we are looking forward to seeing you again next time. Until then, stay awake, stay aware, and take good care of you.